Hello and welcome to this episode of the Desert Tiger Podcast. My name is Colton Geschwantner and I am your host here on the DTP. And welcome to episode 56, where my guest here today is Jon Harvey, lead singer and bassist for Monster Truck. Before we get started with Jon today, of course, I want to go ahead and thank everyone for their feedback on the episode I released 2 weeks ago with the very talented T. Nile. That's right, we missed releasing last week because unfortunately I was quite sick and could not release an episode. So to make up for that in the near future, I'm going to have a double release week. Probably not next week, but I'm thinking the week after that one. We're going to have an episode on Tuesday and a Thursday to make up for that because I made the promise there's going to be no missed episodes. So thank all of you who went ahead and listened to that episode. Those of you who shared the episode, thank you so very much. That extra little cherry on top, because you guys really truly don't know how much that helps this show grow. And if you are a new listener, maybe you want to consider hitting the subscribe or follow button before we go and get things started. And speaking about that, Jon Harvey and Monster Truck are determined to prove that rock and roll lives strong across the globe, on festival stages, smoke-filled clubs, and possibly even your local hockey arena. Constantly putting rubber to the road, Monster Truck are currently getting down and dirty in support of their latest record, True Rockers, which was recently nominated for the 2018 Juno Award for Rock Album of the Year. Jon joins the DTP today to discuss that Juno-nominated album, True Rockers, from working with producers Dan Weller and Gavin Brown. You may know him for his work with bands like Fozzy and 3 Days Grace, also nominated for a Juno. How the band explored a bit with this album's sound, working with rock and roll legend god Dee Snider on the title track for this album, being double featured on Hockey Night in Canada, and being spoken up by probably, Canada's Lord and Saint of Hockey himself, one Mr. Don Cherry. Playing the upcoming Trailer Park Boys cruise, the band's love of hockey and football, and so much more here in my conversation today with Jon Harvey. And I think you guys need to get extremely excited because obviously you can tell that I am hyped up. I'm energetic, and that's because I've been listening to this new album, True Rockers, and what better way to get you guys ready to hear Jon talk all about it with that title track that just so happens to feature the legendary Mr. Dee Snider. This is True Rocker.
Hey, Mom, let's go! Come on, Mom, let's get on! All right, quit yelling at me, man, come on! I'm not an honest or a poet or a saint. Claim to be much of anything. I turn everything up until it breaks. I know who I am. I believe in a rock and roll, and I don't have to try 'cause it's in my soul. I'm here to testify that I lose control. I know who I am. Yeah. day to pay respect to rock and roll, to testify that we are true rockers, to say rock and roll is not dead, cause it lives in our hearts. Stand up and be counted, stand up and show your true colors. Show everybody you know that rock lives in your soul, and that we ain't never gonna let it die. I wanna see all heads banging, all fists to the sky, scream at the top of your lungs. I know who I am, I know what I stand for. I am a true rocker. Let me hear you sing, raise your voices in praise. And as long as we still breathe rock and roll, it will live forever. And if you believe it will never die, we will never die. Now scream!
Desert Tiger Podcast.
We are here with Jon Harvey, otherwise known as Marv, from the band Monster Truck. They are currently touring in support of the Juno-nominated album True Rockers. How's it going?
It's good. Yeah, real good. Taking it easy. Rear drive today, but, it's good.
You guys tour in the winter very often?
Oh, it seems we always do Canada in the winter for some reason, even though we know better, right? But, it's just time we have to do it. We have, we're in Europe a lot of the other times of the year, so we have to do it when we can.
Yeah, I guess Europe's sort of the more of the summer run with the festivals and everything that go on, right?
Yeah, kind of. I think a lot of it, it's like spring and things like that, and you want to get in there at the prime times. And right now, Europe's been a really good market for us, so we really like to build that. So we're kind of putting that as a priority right now. So that being said, Canada in the winter, right?
Yeah, it's just the way that it ends up working out.
Absolutely, which is fine. I mean, no one really minds too, because no one wants to be outside right now. So typically the shows are all right.
Yeah, no worries. Stay inside the warm van. Get inside the building as soon as you can.
Right.
Right. Okay. So, have you guys hit into Europe yet on this tour run?
We
for
did
this album?
A little bit in the end of last year. We were in Europe for about 2 months.
Okay.
But that was supporting Blackstone Cherry. They're an American band. And then our headline tour is April, May through UK and Europe.
So that'll be coming up.
Yeah.
After you guys do the Trailer Park Boys cruise.
Yeah, after the Trailer Park Boys cruise. So that'll be fun.
How did you guys end up becoming a part of that?
I don't know. I think we just got booked for it because it kind of worked. So as soon as they asked us, we're just like, yeah, totally.
Yeah, so that's in March here, right?
March, yeah.
That should be pretty crazy going out to the Bahamas with the...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect at all. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's like. It's going to be an interesting one for sure, I'd imagine.
Have you ever come across the Trailer Park Boys before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? You've met the guys?
Yeah, Brandon and Jerry were at a party with them one time, a long time, or like a year ago or so, and so they got to know them, I guess, a little bit. So, yeah, cool. From what I know, they're pretty cool. I've met other people from the show that are really nice, so it's good.
All right, it should make for a pretty awesome time on the water.
Yeah, totally.
Somebody banging on the door in the background, but that's all right. True Rockers being your latest release here in September. When did you end up recording the album?
We recorded it, we finished it the September before it was released, so it took a year of just bureaucracy and things like that to actually come out. But we recorded it pretty quick, so it was kind of funny. I mean, then we waited around for a long time for it to come out. So we released it in September 2018, and we actually finished it September 2017.
Really?
Which is kind of funny when you think about it. But we went back into the studio in April and recorded 2 other songs for it, both of which became singles. So it was kind of good that we waited, but also it took so long, and it was really frustrating. So, now that it's out and we're actually on the road again, it feels really good to not sit at home and just stew.
Having already been recorded and written most of the songs, were you guys already touring on some of these tracks, or were you holding them in your back pocket?
We always play new songs when we write them, pretty much. I mean, it's the best way to test them out, because if you never play them for anyone, how do you know if anyone's going to like it? And plus, you have a good idea of what parts of the songs people are going to react to.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's good to tour test them.
Because that's one song I know in your guys' catalog that you guys did that a lot with was For the Sun.
Oh yeah,
Which is a song that I'm a very, very big fan of.
right on.
And actually, the years that you guys were testing that out, I think I saw you guys 4 times in that year.
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got to see the process as it came along.
Yeah, it was a lot longer before. If you can believe it.
Did you guys work with Eric Ratz on this album, or did you guys work with other producers?
No, we did it with this guy Dan Weller from the UK. He's like a metal guy,
Okay.
and he's just a good producer. He writes country songs and plays in like a super crazy metal band.
Huh.
So he's amazing, and he's got a great musicality. So we worked with him for most of it, and then we did 3 songs with Gavin Brown, who did like 3 Days Grace. He's done Bare Naked Ladies, The Hip, like all that stuff, just to try and get some singles out and work some radio magic. So
He's a hit master.
yeah, right. So we did 3 songs with him, and then then the record was finally done, and finally put it on.
Did you guys like go back into the studio to touch anything up in between the year that you guys released it, or
No,
was it pretty much?
It was
just
pretty well.
there?
We did that second session, and that's it. And we basically sent it away for mix and master and called it a day. I mean, you could sit there and stew over the things forever, but
Yeah.
you might as well just, let it go.
Oh, that's fair.
If you love it, let it go.
Yeah, that's true. For this album, where you guys kind of took a little bit of a stylistic change on a few songs.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit of backlash from fans, but otherwise some fans are appreciating the progression in sound. Is that something that, were those the songs that Gavin helped on? Those like
Mostly.
Evolution and Young City Hearts?
Yeah. Those are the two that Gavin did. And it was just to try and see if we can do it. I mean, what else are we doing? We had this record, we wanted to do something kind of ambitious, so it's kind of how it came out. I don't really, we don't really listen to people. Like, it's going to be a cold day in hell when I start deciding what kind of songs I'm going to write based on YouTube comments. So, like, it's kind of one of those things where we just wanted to try it out. And who knows what we're going to do next. It's not really, we don't need that kind of limitations.
Oh, definitely. And it's something where you guys started this band to kind of embrace the things that you wanted to do, did you not?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think now it's a lot different than it used to be, because before it was just all fun and now it's a job. It's been a job for a while, so it kind of definitely changes the way you look at it.
So being, now probably about 9 years since you guys started the band,
Right.
like how much has things changed for the group?
Really not that much, considering we just tour like maniacs. So it's kind of funny. It's like nothing really changes as long as you're on the road. And nothing, it hasn't been really exponential or anything like that. Like, we've just been working really hard and trying to get it out, and it's been chugging along. So I'm quite pleased with that. Like to keep going.
Okay. So you guys both came from very different bands before Monster Truck, that being The Reason and St. Alvia.
Yeah, I
So-
wasn't in either of those bands.
You weren't in either of them. It was
No.
the other members.
It was all the
Okay.
other guys. Yeah. I had my own stuff going on.
Okay, so what were you doing at that time?
I had a couple like whatever kind of bands that I was playing with, but I was mostly writing like classic rock stuff, and then we decided to start this band. It was kind of worked.
Okay, and then how do you come into the fold with everything?
Oh, I've been friends with all these guys.
Okay.
With Jer, anyways, for like 20 years. So,
Playing
like,
shows with them and whatnot?
Yeah. Me and Jer kind of grew up in the same scene with bands. We decided we wanted to start this thing, and then I met Brandon at the first band practice for Monster Truck, and I met Steve like a month before that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I've only
Just
known
clicked.
those guys for like 8 or 9 years.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's
Just
one of
jumped
those
right into it and started recording.
things. Yeah, I guess. Well, we started playing, and then as soon as people gave a shit, we started doing, more.
That's pretty freaking awesome.
And that's about.
And then with that progression into like going back into other styles, was that something that you guys like yourselves wanted to do, having came from different projects and different sounds?
Maybe, but I think we were just mostly just to have fun and see what we could get away with. Like, how many different styles can you put on the record? And it was kind of, I don't know, it doesn't make, I think the record's still pretty cohesive considering how wacky it is. But yeah, I don't know. It was a lot of fun. I think it was. This one was mostly about just like trying to get out and enjoy what we're doing again. You know what I mean? Because it gets old, man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it was mostly about. Now, writing the next record now. So it's kind of like, I don't know. Who knows which way it's gonna go?
Well,
it's always different, right?
Yeah, there's a point where you have to make it exciting again for yourself, right?
Well, it's like a snapshot of a year. Every time you put a record, it's kind of like what happened since the last time.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the songs on Tree Rockers are faster and like heavier. I don't know, we were playing a lot of European metal festivals and things like that, so you end up writing kind of like that way. But it was good. It was hopefully people in Canada latch onto it. In other countries, people are right into it, but Canada's hard, man, because you do one thing and you're like, oh, it doesn't sound like Monster Truck, and you're like, okay, well, and then they just forget about you, which is fine. I don't mind that.
Which is weird because like the rest of rock radio is going in an entirely different direction.
Well, I think we were going in the right direction, and we tried to go in the direction everyone else was going in. That was stupid. We should have just kept writing songs like we write.
Well, either way, though, like some of those
we still
songs
wrote these
stand
songs.
out, though.
Oh, totally. And I think, of course, that's great. But like, you just gotta let it go.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. In all honesty, probably my favorite song on the album might be "Young City Hearts."
Yeah, I like that song a lot. That was me and Jay worked really hard on that.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool.
Was working with Gavin, was that like very, like, did it push your boundaries as a musician? Like, was it challenging for you?
Sort of. Like, not so much for me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Me and him got along really well. But the lyrical part of it, writing, because I worked with, he had a partner, Maya Davies, who does mostly vocals and lyrics. We sat down and rewrite the whole song. And like most of it, like most of the phrases I already had, like most of the lyrics, we just rearranged them and did everything. But yeah, I don't know, it wasn't hard. No, it was really easy. It was really inspiring, actually. Mm-hmm. I think it's the most inspired I've ever been working with a production team. Mm-hmm. So Gavin's a really electric kind of guy, and it can go either way. Mm-hmm. If he likes you, he's great.
Well, he can definitely bring a lot of energy to a track, and that's like right off the start.
He's got a natural thing, and a lot of people have that.
Yeah, it's like with Evolution, it definitely catches you right off the bat, and that being like your first single, where like that first line, like the way that you sing it just sort of like catches you and makes you like, grabs your attention. It's like, wait, what? There's a Monster Truck?
He took all the guitars out. Gavin's like, less guitars. And he's like, don't play guitar. He's like, what? There's a band we are. He's like, don't. So we kind of like, it was a little different, but it was awesome. I mean, it was a great learning experience, and I learned an awful lot.
So progressing from your other albums, like, was this more of a growth for you guys that you found? Was writing some of these tracks a little bit more challenging, or were you guys like so far in your process that you guys sort of have that Monster Truck formula and idea, like?
I don't think we ever have a problem writing, man. I like write songs every day. It's like, I am not one of those people that gets writer's block. I just have so much to get out, and you might as well just do it. So that's kind of the way I approach it. It's always the same. It's always just writing tunes and trying to make the best ones you can. Mm-hmm. And it's no different than any other record, except we spent more money. Stupidly.
It happens. Do you find that Dine Alone Records, being on what's considered a smaller record label but still somewhat of a powerhouse within the Canadian scene,
right?
Do you find that they give you a lot of leeway in your creative direction?
Yeah, they don't really mess around with us. I mean, this is our last record with Dine Alone, actually. Well, our contract's up. Oh. But I think that they never really were worried about us, I think they have other things to worry about, and we typically deliver. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like one of those things, and they can kind of just be like, okay, these guys are good, and it's nice, I think. But they've been great to us, and we're really happy with our relationship with them.
Well, it's interesting that they do that with them being a primary like indie label.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do? Do you know what I mean?
It's true.
Like, we used to select singles with them. Like, it was their idea to put 7 Seas Blues to radio. That was your first thing that ever happened. Mm-hmm. So, and then we just started putting songs to radio, and they all did good. So it was like one of those things where, it ended up being a perfect partnership, even though we're not like any other band in their label.
Definitely not.
Yeah, exactly.
Something you mentioned earlier is the European festival scene.
Right.
You guys in 2018 played Download, but the first time you guys played that was in 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've
so
done it 3 times.
it was actually one of the first times you guys ever played the UK. So I mean,
it was the first time.
yeah. So having that being your introduction to the UK, what was your experience with that? And then like having that 5 years of growth to build like a fan base and like to grow yourself within that region. Like, how do you guys like notice just like hitting the stage the first time and then like this last time you went and played it?
Oh, I think we got lucky getting that slot of Download the first time. I think they were missing a band, and we were a fit for what was going on that day. Mm-hmm. And I think that I don't know how it's really changed. I mean, we've been plugging it over there, man. Mm-hmm. We go over there like twice a year, so it's kind of like, you know, it's if you go and put in enough time, eventually it works out for you. Typically, if you're good at it. So we're just kind of plugging through. I mean, it's a nice thing to be able to do those things. It's nice to play Download. It's really nice to play main stage. But, you know, still a lot of work to be done.
Oh, of course.
And that's the way I look at it. It's kind of funny to think about, but like, yeah, I'm always glass half full kind of guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's always so many more places to go until you reach the top of the mountain, and even then you can.
Oh, we'll never reach the top of the mountain. I just want to get to like one of those. Like first base camp or something.
Just get there, maybe use their binoculars to look up.
Right. I don't need to be on the top. I don't care about that. I just want to be able to provide for my family.
Very true. Because I mean, sometimes that's all you can ask for when you're chasing your crazy dreams. Making all the true rockers worldwide bang their heads along to your tunes is that hopefully you can send a little bit of food back home to keep the family rocking and bopping and happily and healthily as well. Of course, I want to talk to you all about getting Dee Snider on the title track for this album, the song that we played earlier on the show that we kicked things off of. We're going to be talking all about how you got that preacher moment together with one of rock and roll's gods himself. But before we do that, I want to take a quick moment to go ahead and tell the listeners of the Desert Tiger podcast, the ones listening to this episode right now, that's right, you here right now, this is how you can go ahead and save 20% off your next purchase of Desert Tiger merchandise to support the store. You simply use the code TRUEROCKERS when you are making your purchase. That will be the code that is used on the store for the next week. Of course, our Shopify is still a little bit down. We are working on that, getting everything nice and ready for that. But you can go ahead and hit us on any of our social media pages and just happen to mention that you are listening to this episode and say that you are a true rocker, and you're going to go ahead and save yourself 20% off your next order from the DTP. I also want to go ahead and thank all of you who have been following the Desert Tiger playlists over on Spotify. I'm currently working on getting them onto Apple Music and Google Play Music as well. You guys have been very patient with me. I ran a survey on my Instagram the other day to see if people were interested in me doing that. You guys were very, very interested. So apparently there's quite a few of you that do use Apple Music and Apple Podcasts. So for those of you, the Great Rhymed North, the Trans-Canada Skate Tape, Maple Moshers, and the Canuck Rock Potluck are going to be coming to those services right away. If you aren't following that on Spotify, but you listen to Spotify, why don't you go ahead, look up Desert Tiger Podcast or any of the names that I just mentioned, that being the Great Rhymed North, the Trans-Canada Skate Tape, that being the punk and hardcore. Great Rhymed North is our hip-hop and rap. The Canuck Rock Potluck, of course, you guys can tell what that is, and Maple Moshers are for those of you who are the heavy headbangers and love yourself some metal. I'm going to be working on one for pop music in Canada that I'm going to be naming Northern Lights right away as well. But, of course, that is for a different time, because right now we are in the middle of my conversation with Jon Harvey of Monster Truck. We need to get back into that by playing you guys another track off of their latest Juno Award nominated album, True Rockers. This is one of the songs that we discussed earlier, and you can also find this song on the Canuck Rock Potluck playlist, now available on Spotify, soon to be available on Apple Music and Google Play Music. This track is entitled Young City Hearts.
We are wild, we are free, like the city never sleep. We are young, wild and free. Young city hearts, remember me, disappear into the streets. We are young, wild and free. Yeah, we are wild and free. Oh yeah. Young city hearts, raise your voice and sing. Tonight is ours. Forget everything. Under electric skies, my spirit can't deny. Now we're somewhere, this is awesome time. We are wild, we are free, like the city never sleep. We are young, wild and free. Young city hearts, remember me, disappear into the streets. We are young, wild and free. We are wild and free. We are wild and free. Oh yeah. I just wanna run, have no regrets. It takes a little blood and a lot of sweat. Under electric skies, my spirit can't deny. Now we're somewhere, this is awesome time. We are wild, we are free, like the city never sleep. We are young, wild and free. Young city hearts, remember me, disappear into the streets. We are young, wild and free. Yeah, we are wild and free. You're wild and free. Oh yeah, we are wild and free. We are wild and free. We are wild and free. We are wild and free.
The Desert Tiger Podcast.
So for True Rocker, and of course the title track for the album, you guys worked with probably one of the most dedicated and truest of rockers of all time, of course that being Mr. Dee Snider, a man who took the stand in the name of rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
So how does that even come about to get Dee on the album, and where did the idea to come up to bring that sort of section on where it's just sort of like a preacher
Yeah.
type moment?
Well, when I wrote the song, I was just like, okay, well, I had this part that I really liked, this metal part, and I thought I should go there. Because I was trying to write something like, my half-assed attempt at a Bohemian Rhapsody or something, And I wrote this part, and I'm like, well, we should probably have some kind of rock and roll preacher section to really corn it up, really. And we were talking. I was talking to Dee for a while because he just found out about us. He was doing a thing in Toronto, and he heard us in some Jew shop. And then he started getting a hold of me, and then we started chatting a bunch of times. And I still chat to him some here and there. But I asked him to be on it. He's like, yeah, totally. So it was super easy. And then he recorded it in LA, I think, in his studio, and then we just put it on a record.
So he's just a fan of the band, and
Yeah, super cool dude who wants to support us because he thinks we're doing the right thing, and we're super impressed. You know, and support like that from a dude like that's pretty nice.
I mean, to have the support of somebody who sang some of rock's most prestigious anthems.
He's got
Of rebellion
incredible insight, that guy.
Everything else, he's brilliant. So did he write his part for the song, or?
I kind of gave him an outline, and then he finished her off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like, "What do you want me to do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll just do something like this." He's like, "Okay, I'll just make up my own thing with that." I'm like, "Oh, perfect."
Wow. And then, so True Rocker is sort of your guys' answer to the claim that rock and roll is dead. Is that correct?
Kind of. I think it's more just having fun. Mm-hmm. It's more about just like being free with who you are and being proud of who you are, and rather than try to be like anything else, just like, you know, about giving up and just saying, listen, this is who I am. So that's how it goes. And I think it's healthy for people to look at it like that.
Okay. So the tour poster for this tour happens to feature you guys in a very hockey situated thing, and it seems that
we got a Hockey Night in Canada t-shirt over there.
It seems that the sport of hockey has seemed to revolve around the band's career for quite some time now. You guys have yourselves a fantasy hockey pool, from what I hear. You guys also sponsor a Pee Wee hockey team. Is that right?
We sponsored a girls team 2 years ago.
Wow.
We're probably gonna do it again soon. But we had difficulty sponsoring another team this year, so we're kind of like just we'll probably work for next year, get another team sponsored. But yeah, we just like hockey. It's awesome.
Is that like, did you guys just always grow up around the sport? Did you play the sport when you were young?
Thank you. I just love hockey, man. Just it's what we watch and what we do, and it's super fun.
Okay. You actually had a song featured on Hockey Night in Canada recently, and I mean, it's not like, to have your song featured on Hockey Night in Canada is one thing, but to have Don Cherry like call on the song like the week after, just to like comment on just how well it fit everything and just how it's a true rock and roll song, like to have someone who's an idol in a sport that you like do, like, how crazy was that moment for you guys?
Awesome. It was great. I think I forgot about it actually, but it was amazing. It was super awesome. I was watching on Game Center. There's like a 3-minute delay, and then Jared was watching on regular TV, and he called me. He's like, "Turn it on right now." That was already on. He's like, "Just wait," and then it came on, and then he did this whole spiel, and we're like, "Okay, that's pretty good." So, you know, grateful that people like us.
Especially pretty much the Canadian Idol of hockey, the Lord in some people's minds.
Really, really nice guy. So it was very kind of him to do that for us.
I have to agree. You guys have also worked with the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the CFL, playing the halftime of the Labor Day game this recent year. What was that experience like, playing probably the biggest venue, I would have to say, in Hamilton, Ontario?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, we only played like 3 songs, but it was good. It was televised. It was about what we wanted. We like doing stuff with the Cats. We're all Cats fans too.
So, with the album, did you guys take a different approach to lyric writing?
No, it's always usually the same. I just kind of figure it out.
Okay. So for some of the songs, let's dive into them a little bit. Devil Don't Care. I kind of like the idea, the message behind that. Do you want to dive into?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just about, I just think the world's so fucked up that the devil is like not even a reasonable scapegoat anymore. So that's kind of what I was kind of going for. Because, you know, it doesn't really matter, does it? That's kind of the whole sentiment behind the song. It's like, yeah, you know, you can't sell your soul, you know. No one wants it. This is gonna happen, man. You guys starting to go, so.
Oh yeah. Because, I mean, everybody always wants to say that the devil made them do it, or they sold their soul to the devil, or...
Well, it's a sentiment. It's just kind of like that stuff stupid.
Well, I mean, when somebody is ruling what would be considered the underground, why would he have to worry about what somebody who's random, the devil made me go and drive my car
I think
recklessly?
It's more of a statement to tell people, like, well, no, it's more of a statement. It's like, why are you looking for a scapegoat? Just like accept the fact that you're trash.
So true, though, right? Like, why do you need someone else to like say who you truly are as a person? Like, if that's who you are and that's how you're acting, embrace it. Just don't try and hide from it. If that's who you're gonna be. Okay, Young City Hearts for the lyrics for that one. You said that you had some parts written out for it already, but it was already progressed into otherwise. So what was it, and sort of what did it end? Like, did it end up morphing from the idea you had already had for it, or
really? I think we just refined a lot of things. I think it was mostly just taking words out and moving things around that made it the way it is now. But yeah, that song's just about fun.
Oh yes, it's a very fun song.
It's about fun.
Makes your heart want to dance.
Right on.
Your 2013 album, Furiosity, actually recently went gold.
I did. That was a nice plaque.
I imagine. What was receiving that like?
It's cool, man. I'm pretty excited. You know,
Is it actually gold?
Yeah, but I don't think so. Like $400. There's no way the record's gold.
Do they make you buy the gold record?
No. The record label buys them for us. But if you're gonna buy them from other people, you have to pay.
Okay, because I know that's how they do it with like awards and stuff.
Yeah, Junos, you gotta buy your Junos. But if you win a Juno, your record label buys it for you. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Ours does.
Did the 2013 Breakthrough Group of the Year, did that one get covered for you guys?
Oh
yeah, nice.
It's at my mom's house.
Well, hopefully, if you win the 2018 Album of the Year there for rock, where are you gonna place that one? You feel?
Probably the same place. I don't want it. She can have it.
She can have it too.
Yeah, my mom can have it. Yeah.
She can sit there and have the nice collection
Put
of
them up there.
Marvs.
Impress your sisters. No, but like.
So they can come home and why is he the favorite?
It'd be cool because it'd be cool. I mean, it's fun to just go and see everybody. And really, we haven't been to a Junos. We get nominated every time we put out a record. We've missed the last like 3. So it's nice to go. Nice to see everybody.
It's in Toronto this year? London, so nice and close to home?
Kind of. London's a little farther. I wish it was in Toronto. But London's fine. It's a nice place too.
Always a good time over in London.
Yeah, not bad.
So you guys have the announcement for the European dates. Are you guys planning on hitting any festivals after that? Or once you guys are done the European dates, are you going to be coming back, touring a little bit more, heading back into the studio? What's the plan for afterwards?
I think we got a bunch of Canadian stuff we're doing over the summer. So like fly-in festival stuff. And then we're probably going to go back to the studio here and there as we go along and hopefully have, get it done. That's kind of the whole thing. It's just work as hard as you can now so you don't have to later.
You guys do a lot of your writing on the road then, so that you're prepared once you get into the studio and you can knock it out in the shortest amount of time as possible?
Yeah, we're always ready. We usually do the demo the whole record and then go in and record it. So pretty easy. I mean, we have a pretty good system now. Yeah.
Okay. So besides writing and sitting inside of a van, what do you guys do when you're on the road for fun?
Look around, eat. That's pretty much it. Went to the Canucks game last night. That was cool.
Ooh,
but
nice.
just kind of relax. An hour and a half of yelling my face off is tiring. So I tend to just chill out a lot.
I see you guys also got to be a part of a European hockey team's opening procedures.
Glasgow Clan.
The Glasgow Clan.
Yeah, up in Scotland. It's great.
That's pretty cool.
Beautiful place.
So did they just invite you to do that, or?
Yeah, they're cool. They knew we were hockey fans, and we've done some things with them before. And they're just really cool.
So like, done some things with them, like they use some of your songs.
Yeah, and we went and did how to skate with with their players, and like a little, it was cool. Because people get really stoked when you're from Canada. They have a pretty good team. Their team actually gets like 3,000 or 4,000 people out to the games.
Oh,
Which is
dang.
more than a lot of like OHL or Western Hockey League teams.
I'm pretty sure that's more than the team in town here
Yeah,
gets.
so it's one of those things. It's pretty cool. It's like hockey's kind of catching on in the UK. So they latched on to us because we got songs about hockey.
You guys are pretty big supporters of your OHL team back in Hamilton, correct?
Yeah, Bulldogs right on.
Yeah.
OHL champs. But yeah, we go every game.
Everyone that you possibly can?
Pretty much.
Season ticket holders?
Yeah, well, they give us passes,
Oh, wow.
so we don't really need tickets. We just go and sit around.
Honorary members of the
I guess
team
so.
sort of thing?
Yeah, I take my kid a lot. He loves it.
That's good. Raising them up right.
Yeah, you know.
Have you taught your kid how to skate yet?
No, but he's starting to learn on his own.
Okay.
I'm away a lot, but his mom's got him out there.
How do you find that being? Because, I mean, when you guys first got, like, the contract and started hitting the road, I imagine that you really didn't have much of a family life back home, like, in terms of kids or wives or anything. So, like, how has that changed the dynamic of being on the road and touring and everything else?
Not much. I mean, really, it just makes, it's harder to be away from my son, but other than that, same stuff. Really, I mean, we have a little bit different responsibilities, but everyone gets it. So,
Right.
that's how she is.
I have a feeling we're about to get drowned out by sound one more time.
Yeah,
so
you're cooked.
last question, my friend. What is the future plans here for Monster Truck? Are you guys planning on pushing the sounds a little bit further now that you guys have already, like, seeing where the line is? Do you guys want to see if you can maybe mark another one a little bit further along?
I don't know. I think whatever feels right, man. I think that's kind of the way I like to approach things. But yeah, whatever feels right.
All right. We'll leave it there.
Right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And just like that, in classic Desert Tire fashion, we run things right to the edge of time. Of course, there was a little bit of a snowstorm going on the day that I met up with Jon Harvey and Monster Truck. Thankfully, they were still able to get the show started on time. Doors were open. They played a fantastic show in front of the crowd here in Kamloops, British Columbia at CJ's nightclub, of course, put on by the wonderful Cam Merce Productions. I want to go ahead and thank Jon Harvey for helping me out here with this episode. I also want to go ahead and thank a few other people for helping out with this episode as well. That has to go out to Oliver, Andrew, and Tom for all the assistance that they gave in helping this episode come together. Thank all three of you and anyone else that may have been involved in that process. I need to thank you guys, the listeners here at the Desert Tiger Podcast, for tuning in once again to another episode of the DTP. You guys know that I love you so much. If you enjoyed what you heard here on the episode, this episode right here, maybe you want to feel so inclined to go ahead and share this episode amongst your friends and family by sharing it on your social media platforms, maybe even telling them about the episode, personally being like, yo, I really think that you guys would enjoy this show. It's called the Desert Tiger Podcast. The guy that hosts it is a little bit arrogant. He talks really fast sometimes, but he has really dope guests like all the time, and just like that, they will understand that I love self-depreciating myself all the time, and they'll be like, okay, maybe this guy will be chill. And then maybe there'll be a new listener, and then maybe they'll decide to go ahead and hit follow on Spotify or subscribe on Apple Podcasts or whatever service you may be listening on if you are a new listener here at the podcast. Like I said, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode. Those of you who have gone ahead and ordered your t-shirts with that code that I said in the middle of the show, that's right, in your message for the t-shirt, go ahead and tell me that you are a true rocker. You're going to get yourself 20% off your next purchase of DTP merch as well. That, of course, is only valid until the end of February 2019, though. So go ahead, hurry up, and save yourself 20%. Okay, next week on the show, we are going to be featuring a member of the Guess Who. He is the longest standing lead singer in the Guess Who history. His name is Derek Sharp, and we are going to be discussing how he ended up in the band, his experiences playing in the Guess Who, having Rudy Sarzo recently join the band, and a whole lot of other things like the album they dropped in 2018. So I hope that you guys are going to be tuning in next week on February 28th for my conversation with Derek Sharp, lead singer of the Guess Who. So until next week, toodaloo.